Are you sure about that?
Enemy torpedo spotted. Enemy aircraft incoming. Target hit. Enemy ship destroyed. Destroyed enemy ship.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Enemy ship destroyed. Destroyed an enemy ship. Target hit. Nice shot. Enemy aircraft incoming. Target hit. Destroyed an enemy ship.
Hello everyone, my name is BobLyn and welcome back to episode 11 of Cruisers of Blitz. Today we're taking a look at the Minotaur, and it's been a while since we've been playing, these cruisers here in this series. I have been excited to play the Minotaur. It's one of my all-time favorite ships in the game. It's so much fun, and the skill level and skill ceiling is really big. It's not a hard ship to get down at first, but it's a hard ship to master. So let me show you how I set up my ship. So for the Minnows elite ship bonus, I went with cruiser modernization. Now you could say, why would you go for that? But that's because it gives traverse speed, AA damage, and some ship hit points. The Minotaur's turrets, in my opinion, already turn pretty fast, so I don't feel like I need this as much. So I took this instead. The details of this ship, it's a pretty fun ship. You get 3 smoke 2, some DFAA, and 1 sonar. I only have 1 because I didn't spec into the commander. Of course, it's a British ship, so you get the single file torpedoes, and there's also a legendary mod, which it boosts your traverse acceleration and your acceleration, and then it gives minus 25% to your steering gear survivability. So your steering gear and your power systems, your engine, are more likely to get shut out, but you have DCP, right? So it's not that big a problem. For the equipment, I went with a full DPN build because this thing only has AP, and if you want to maximize the damage in a ship like this that only has AP, you want to be shooting all the time and you want to be hitting weak spots. To do that, you need reload. I mean, you could opt for this, right? The Minotaur's shell dispersion is a square and not a circle, so if you can imagine that, you can actually be pretty precise with this, and it's easy for me to knock out DDs with the quickness, really. So I went with the legendary mod in slot 2. That's because I feel like I can get both steering and this in one package, and then instead I can slot concealment system. So that's my build. If I wasn't running legendary mod, I would probably go with acceleration and steering, or this detection, because it is, the Minotaur is really a ship you want to be stopping, turning, starting all the time, because it's really good at that. This thing is basically a DD. It's very small in comparison to other, you know, light cruisers. It's not that big. It's maneuverable, it's got smokes, and it also has a ton of torpedoes. Well, let's take a look at the armament here. You get 5 times 2 152mm guns that reload in 3.3 seconds with my build. 12-kilometer range, and here's the nice thing: you also get 4x4 torpedoes on each side. So that's 4x2 on each side. That's insane. You have 8 torpedoes on each side of your ship. And my surface detection with this build is only 7.12. The AA on Minotaur is not bad. It's, you know, it's pretty good actually. I have gotten 35 plane kills in one game, but it's not something that's gonna, you know, prevent a strike on your team or yourself. For the commander, I have David Beatty. I think he is the best commander for this, or he is the commander who's made for this line. You can put him on other things, but this is the one he shines on. So the first two here, Underwater Protection Expert and Torpedo Alert Plus, because you get the plus. So that's why I don't have one more DFAA and one more sonar. If I wasn't using this guy, I would be using this instead. I have Artillery Maintenance. I mean, that's personal preference, but you could also go with this or this. It's either one in this slot here. Now this one, the Sixth Sense, is a legendary commander skill, and I take this any day over these two, because in a Minotaur it's nice to know if the whole enemy team is aiming at you, so then you know that you actually have to start actively dodging. Survivalist, more health, same down here, fully prepared. Recon and surveillance, you know, I only have one sonar, but it is nice to have that be more effective when I do use it. I could have taken this, it's also viable, definitely. So this guy, David Beatty, comes with a lot of good skills. One of them is Mistweaver Plus. It basically just makes your smokes last longer and be more powerful, which is very nice in the Minotaur since you have 3 smoke too. I take Demolition Expert. I would have taken that otherwise, because it doesn't boost anything, these two. Honor Seeker to be, you know, to do more damage, and of course APCS, because this thing only has AP, so you can't benefit from either of these. And then I take Giant Hunter, because you have so many torpedoes and they have pretty good range, 8 kilometers or something, a little past 8 kilometers. You could take this, but you don't get Citadels very often, so it wouldn't make sense, right? So let's take a look at the games, and I have a pretty good one for you and a very intense one for you. Good damage and a very intense game. Alright, so here we are against a double Smolensk team. Wow, what is this? Shame on you. Luckily I got my teammate Chosen Ones right here in Immerso, so we're probably gonna have some fun. You know, the teams are looking pretty good, no bots. So let's get into the game. We're playing on Friar's Lantern, and this is the big damage game, so strap in and get ready. So the Minotaur, it's a very fun ship to play. But if you've played a battleship or any heavy cruiser for that matter, even a DD, some DDs, you know how easy it is to kill this thing. For example, if you're in a Kleber and you swap to AP, use your reload booster and your speed boost, man, this Minotaur doesn't stand a chance. You don't have a chance, because it's so hard to hit them. These things blow up, and that's why they have these smokes, of course. But other than that, there's not really anything in the terms of defense. This thing is very easy to kill, and that's why you gotta be extremely careful of like where you turn your ship. You gotta know exactly where every single enemy battleship is and when they've shot to master this ship. You know, people usually say that this ship is very easy to play. You know, if you just have to pop your smoke like I'm doing here and shoot. But it's not very easy to master this ship, because there's a lot to do in between. If you remember I said that the maneuverability is extremely good on this ship. It's almost like a destroyer. That's something you gotta use to your advantage. If you want to succeed in a light cruiser, especially the Minotaur, you have to dodge. I've said this quite a lot of times now, but it really is very important, because you can, if you're fighting a Vermont and you're sailing, you know, kind of perpendicular to him, in the instant he shoots, you turn in towards him, and so your bow points towards him. his shells will fly completely over your bow or your superstructure, and you're fine. And then he has to wait 30 seconds. You have to wait 3 to shoot. So it just shows how powerful it is to be able to dodge, and the Minotaur is great for learning that. I actually didn't acquire the Minotaur, you know, very quick. It took me, you know, a year or something to get it, and I haven't played it that much, but simply because I'm kind of, you know, ADHD. I want to play every ship in the game, so I grind every line. So I haven't played the Minnow that much, but when I decided to make this video and picked it up again, I just remembered how fun it is, and it's very, very fun and rewarding when you know, get a great game in it, because you feel like such a pro with this ship. The fun factor is definitely there as well. Now this thing's main role is of course to kill destroyers. Like you saw in my montage, I completely annihilated DDs. And you can see here this gearing is taking some good damage from this AP. Having no HE can be very annoying at sometimes. For example, when I see a Grosso Curvehurst, I'm always contemplating just leaving him alone or rushing him with my torps. That's what was that number? The DD snipe number 10, I think. I can't remember now, but yeah, this thing is actually not that hard to hit with. Because you have this square dispersion pattern, it means that your shells tend to land a lot more together. So you get these really chunky hits on DDs and Smolensks, for example. So versus a Smolensk, you are completely, you know, dominating in that fight. Right, he has a lot of guns, they reload pretty fast, and he can set a lot of fires. But if you are on target and you hit every single salvo, you will win against the Smolensk. The problem is if you don't have your DCP and you try to smoke up, they will probably get a fire on you, so you gotta be careful for that. A very important thing to remember also with the Minotaur is don't rely on your smokes. I tend to, well, in this game I did not. I don't have any smokes anymore. As you can see, I've only done 40,000 damage. We have gotten 3 kills though, but you know, this is now I would have loved to have my smokes. Do your best to save them. You know, try to dodge as much as possible in the beginning of the game, especially there, so you can save your smokes and your HP for the late game. Because the Minnow doesn't have a lot of HP, and you don't get a super heal like you do on PC. So you gotta make do with what you have. And luckily you have a ton of torpedoes, as you see here. These torpedoes are great. They don't do the max damage, but they're up there, so it's nothing to complain about. Unfortunately, our team here is not looking very good. We're getting capped out, and the CV's doing a great job of actually making sure my teammate Chosen Ones in the Marceau can't really do anything. The Marceau is hard to hit for a CV, but if it's a good CV, he can definitely do something. So now we see a GK coming in, like I talked about, and I'm always contemplating, you know, run away, shoot him in the superstructure and the bow or stern, or should I just try to torp him to death and really get everything out. And that's, you know, he's luckily in range, so of course we're gonna try that. Still 3v3 in the game, but it's not looking too good. You know, they're ahead on points. So the first salvo is gonna go in, and look at that. That's the beauty of Minotaur right there. Your damage can go up so fast. If you don't hit your torpedoes and you pretty much just kill DDs and don't get to farm anything, you won't get that high damage. But if you get all your torpedoes off, man, it's insane. So do I think the Minotaur is a ship that, you know, newer players should pick up? Like, in some way yes, and some ways no. Because the playstyle you have to, you know, master as a Minotaur player is very interesting, and you get to be in the heat of battle all the time. But it's also very hard because you're extremely easy to punish. So, I mean, if you just think the thing is cool and it's fun, go for it, right? I love my Minotaur. I think it's amazing. I actually haven't checked my stats, but after this I think I will, because I feel like it's kind of mixed. It's not every game that I win in this ship. You know, with all these Vermont, Colombo is your worst enemy. He will completely annihilate you with the sap. You have no chance against the Colombo in this ship. CVs can also be pretty annoying, but as you see here with the DFA up, we're doing pretty good against Hakuyo. We're, you know, holding our own. 32 plane kills. That's pretty nice. I think we might get 35 here, and he doesn't hit us. Yeah, look at that. What a beautiful dodge. No juice for you, Carrier. See ya, man. So there we go. It was the defeat, but 124 damage. So this game was to showcase the potential of the Minotaur. If you get even more tops off, man. So here we are on the way into the next game, and this one is a little bit different. It's not a high damage game, but it showcases what you can also do in the Minotaur. We're playing Epicenter here on Chain, and we are playing with some of our teammates from my fleet. So it's bound to be a good game. I love playing Epicenter, like I said. I think it's extremely fun, and especially in the Minotaur, because you have, well, with my build, you have extremely good detection. You can see on the minimap, my detection is quite similar to, you know, what a gunboat DD at tier 10. That's not bad. That's not bad for a light cruiser with 10 guns and a ton of torps. You also have your smoke, so once you do get spotted and you see that, you know, rain of BB salvos coming in, you know, turn away, pop your smoke, wait a little bit with shooting. Don't give them that, you know, chance to see where you are, and then, you know, fire away. Just destroy their DDs. So in this game here, we are going to move into the cap, because you are, like I said, you're just like a DD, so you better cap with your team and, you know, support your destroyers, because if one team has a minnow, the other team doesn't, and there's a bunch of destroyers on each team, if the minnow is pushing in, that team is going to have a huge advantage, because, you know, it's only the Kleber, maybe the Khabarovsk, that can really compete with this thing in a 1v1. You know, even those ships would get pretty annihilated against a good minnow player, but they might be able to. So here we have this Kitakazi, and will he be number 11? 11, or I don't know, maybe not. He might get behind the island here. Spoiler alert, guys, he will not get behind the island, because look at the Minotaur Shellocks. They are beautiful, beautiful for sniping DDs. I mean, that was... I was pretty sure I was laughing maniacally when that happened in the game, because it had just happened way too often for me. So the ship, you know, you see the arcs. It has pretty good arcs. They're very high, but they are good for sniping things behind islands when they don't expect it. It's kind of like Worcester arcs, but they're not as slow as the Worcester shells. So keep that in mind. So as you can see, our team is doing pretty good on caps here. Our DDs did a good job of getting in the middle, capping the bases. But, you know, I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're gonna push very hard now, because they need to get caps. So I'm gonna counter push and take this middle island position here to deny them this opportunity. I don't want anybody to get the middle cap, because it's the most points and it's the hardest one to, you know, get. It takes the longest, and it's in the middle of the map, right? So you're bound to be detected. So we're moving in here. 3 battleships are looking at me right now. 3 ships, I might say. And we actually, you know, we got out of that pretty unscathed. And you just saw me execute a pretty basic engine fate, I guess they're called, where you just go in reverse when you expect them to shoot, and they're going to shoot. So I do that a lot in Minotaur, because especially when there's a Colombo over a mod, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make them miss. So now we're in the position, and we can smoke up, because this Colombo here, he's out of position now, and he's in trouble. Now Colombo is actually decently hard for Minotaur to kill, as you can see. At range, barely scrape the surface. I mean, it's just this paint we're destroying. And I'm even hitting his bow, and I'm getting a decent amount of non-pens. Just look at this. He's healing more than I'm dealing damage. So that's the downside of the Minotaurs, you know, that it only has AP. And you want to hear a fun fact, guys? So in the beginning, when Wargaming made World of Warships, the PC game, before Blitz was even out, they promised, when this ship was released, the Minotaur, that there would never be a light cruiser with HE and smoke. So, you know, that's when Minnow released. Fair enough, Minnow is a fair ship. I think it's actually an awesome idea that only ships that have AP can have a smoke. But it also would, you know, just make it a lot more, right? But fast forward a couple of years, what gets released? well, we had the Belfast, but at tier 10 they said, well, introduce the Smolensk. The Smolensk is basically just the Minotaur with even more cracked guns, with HE, better damage, better fire chance, well, HE with an insane fire chance, minus the torpedoes and less smoke. And I promise we are going to be taking a look at the Smolensk because even though I hate the Smolensk, I will have to admit I do enjoy seal clubbing. I do say seal clubbing at tier 10 with the Smolensk because that ship is just outrageous.
Target hit.
So guys, we're coming up to the end of the video here. I just wanted to showcase these two games. As you see here, we are completely capping the game and they've been pushed out. I've just been sitting in my smoke doing nothing. So that's the power of the Minotaur, and I think it's a ship you should grind if you are looking for a new cruiser to grind. It's great fun, and the line is fun too. The Edinburgh is fun, Fiji is fun, the Neptune is fun. So yeah. A lot of you guys have been commenting a lot on my videos recently, and it's just been so nice to see all the comments, the growth too. I've applied for the CC program in hopes of getting a CC account so I can post more videos about new ships. So far no answer, but I'm you know, hoping for the best. I really do enjoy making these videos, and it's a blast seeing you guys, your reactions and your comments. It really it makes me my day. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I think that's the end of the game. Yeah, there it is. My name has been BobLyn, signing off.